The MLB draft is unlike any other draft in the major sports. It isn't like the NFL, where the Bears can pencil in Caleb Williams, who they took number 1 overall in the draft this year, as their starting quarterback for this upcoming season. Baseball's draft is more of a lottery than any other sport, and you can go back and look at first rounds from past years and see plenty of names that you haven't heard since that draft. Players get drafted in the first round and then disappear for 3, 4, even 5 years before they make it to the big leagues, if at all. The exception to all this is Paul Skeens, of course. But today we're going to take a look 10 years ago at the 2014 MLB draft, before the 2024 draft kicks off this week, and see how each pick worked out for each team. We're not going to be grading just the individual player, but how the pick affected the team overall, taking into consideration the player's performance, the team's success, and how they departed, primarily in the players they brought back if they were traded. You may be surprised as to whose name is on this list and the team they were associated with, and there will be plenty of players that you won't remember at all. Brady Aiken was taken number 1 overall by the Houston Astros, but the team and Aiken could not reach an agreement on a signing bonus due to Aiken's physical revealing elbow inflammation in his throwing arm. Aiken chose not to sign due to the reduction in money that Houston was offering, and instead was drafted by Cleveland the following year after having Tommy John surgery just 8 months after being drafted by Houston. Aiken never made it past A-level baseball, and was the first number 1 overall pick to not sign since 1983. The pick that Houston was awarded after not signing Aiken was used in the 2015 draft to take Alex Bregman, which is the only reason that this pick is being graded a D instead of an F. Tyler Kolek was taken with the 2nd pick by the Marlins and boasted a fastball that was clocked into the triple digits. Unfortunately for Miami, he struggled in the minors and eventually underwent Tommy John surgery in 2016 and missed just about all of 2017, also due to injury. He pitched in low A and single A in 2018 and 2019 before electing free agency after the cancellation of the 2020 minor league baseball season, and never made it past A ball. For the Marlins, this is an easy F grade for the number 2 overall pick in the draft. The White Sox drafted Carlos Rodon with the 3rd overall pick after he dominated at North Carolina State. He debuted in 2015, initially out of the bullpen before transitioning into the starting rotation and making 28 starts in 2016. Injuries derailed his career until 2021, when he was non-tendered and re-signed to a 1-year deal. Rodon threw a no-hitter and finished 5th in the AL Cy Young voting that year, before dominating with the Giants and finishing 6th in the NL Cy Young the following season. He is currently in the 2nd year of a 6-year deal with the Yankees, which has gotten off to a rocky start. Injuries cut down on Rodon's time in Chicago, but he was a key piece of their 2021 postseason team and was a solid pitcher when healthy, so I'll grade this pick a C. Kyle Schwarber was drafted as a catcher by the Cubs with the 4th pick and debuted in 2015, splitting time between the outfield and behind the plate. He hit 5 home runs during the Cubs' 2015 postseason run and returned from a season-long injury in 2016 to play a huge role in the World Series as a designated hitter, and the Cubs won the title in 7 games. Schwarber struggled with strikeouts and defense in the years following before being released by the Cubs. He was signed by the Nationals, rediscovered his power stroke, and was traded to Boston for their 2021 postseason run. He is currently in the 3rd year of a 4-year deal with the Phillies, who are coming off of back-to-back postseason appearances with Schwarber playing a key role. Schwarber's best years were those after he left the Cubs, but he did contribute to the franchise's turnaround in 2015 and 2016, so I'll grade this pick a B. Nick Gordon was drafted by the Twins with the 5th pick as a shortstop, and hit for a high average all throughout the minors. He debuted in 2021 for Minnesota, but struggled offensively and was set down to AAA until the following season, where he put up a .743 OPS. His 2023 season was cut short after 34 games due to a fractured shin, and he was traded to the Marlins for reliever Steven Okert, who has been a solid reliever from Minnesota this season. Gordon never figured it out with the bat for Minnesota, but because they were able to trade him for a solid reliever, I'll grade this pick a D. Alex Jackson was a catcher taken by the Mariners with the 6th pick, after being regarded as one of the best hitters in the entire draft. He never made it to the majors with Seattle, and after struggling offensively in A-ball in 2016, the Mariners traded him to the Braves for a pair of pitchers who combined to pitch in just 6 games for Seattle. Jackson debuted for the Braves in 2019, before he was traded at the deadline in 2021 to Miami in exchange for Adam Duvall. He bounced around to a few teams before ending up with the Rays, and is currently serving as a backup catcher for Tampa Bay. Jackson never developed with the Mariners, and they weren't able to trade him for any sort of return, so this pick gets an F. Aaron Nola was taken by the Phillies with the 7th pick out of LSU, and debuted with the team just 1 year later in 2015. After spending the following 2 seasons in the rotation, Nola made the All-Star team in 2018 and finished 3rd in the Cy Young voting with a 2.73 ERA and 33 starts. He signed a 4-year extension before the season in 2019 and became the fastest Phillies pitcher to reach 1,000 strikeouts. Nola anchored the rotation with Zach Wheeler during the 2022 Improbable World Series team and throughout the 2023 NLCS run. He is currently in the first year of a new 7-year, $172 million contract with the Phillies in 2024. Nola's impact on the Phillies rotation helped turn the franchise around, led them to their first pennant since 2008, and seems primed to continue leading the rotation with Wheeler, so I have to give this pick an A. Kyle Freeland was selected by the Colorado Rockies with the 8th pick in the draft, and he collected the win in his debut in 2017 in Colorado's home opener. He finished that season with a 4.10 ERA in 156 innings, before breaking out in 2018 with a 17-7 record, 2.85 ERA, and 4th place Cy Young finish. He broke the franchise's single-season ERA record and pitched 6.2 scoreless in the NL wildcard game against the Cubs. Freeland's performance for the Rockies in 2018 led them to the postseason and to a wildcard game win over the Cubs, but he never recaptured the form that led him to finish 4th in the Cy Young that season and has primarily struggled over the past several seasons in hitter-friendly Colorado. For that reason, this pick for the Rockies is graded a C. Jeff Hoffman was taken by the Blue Jays with the 9th pick and was viewed with the potential of going number 1 overall before he had Tommy John surgery in 2013. He never debuted in the majors with Toronto. It was instead traded to the Rockies as part of the package for Troy Tulowitzki. Hoffman struggled greatly in Colorado and transitioned to the bullpen, where he found some success in Cincinnati after being traded there prior to 2021. He was DFA'd in 2022 before signing and breaking out with the Phillies out of the bullpen and is currently a key piece and all-star. Tulowitzki never quite worked out for Toronto, but he did contribute to the team's 2015 and 2016 ALCS runs, and for that I'll grade Toronto's pick a D. Michael Conforto was drafted by the Mets at pick 10 and was starting for the Major League team in 2015 a little over a year after signing with them. He finished the season with an .841 OPS in 56 games, helping to lead the Mets to the World Series and hitting a pair of home runs in Game 4. He made the All-Star team in 2017, but his season was ended early due to a shoulder injury. He played out the rest of his seasons with the Mets as a cornerstone in the outfield and finished with an OPS around 800 in 5 out of the 7 seasons he spent with the team. He declined a contract extension and qualifying offer from the Mets, missed 2022 due to another shoulder injury, before signing with the Giants in 2023. Conforto is currently playing around league average baseball in San Francisco, but his impact with the Mets during their 2015 run and the years following earns this pick a B. Max Pentecost was taken 11th overall by the Blue Jays with a compensation pick and was viewed as the best pure catcher in the draft. He had a solid opening season in the minors before missing 2015 due to shoulder surgery, but put up an .847 OPS in the minors in 2016. But due to more injuries and struggles at the plate, he never made it past AA in 2018 before announcing his retirement in 2019. This pick for Toronto is an easy F. Cody Medeiros was a starting pitcher selected by the Brewers with the 12th overall pick, but he never made it to the major leagues. He struggled immediately in rookie and A-ball and was eventually traded to the White Sox in 2018, where he finished the season with a .353 ERA. An injury, underperformance, and the canceled pandemic season led him to eventually electing free agency and signing with the Angels, where he continued to struggle in AAA before being released. He is currently retired from baseball, and this pick for Milwaukee is again an easy F. Trey Turner was originally drafted by the Padres with the 13th pick in the draft, but was quickly traded 6 months later as part of a 3-team trade with the Nationals and Tampa Bay, with Turner headed to Washington and the Padres receiving outfielder Will Myers. Myers was a solid player for the Padres and made the All-Star team in 2016, but Turner went on to debut in center field for the Nationals and finished 2nd in the Rookie of the Year voting that year. He returned to shortstop for Washington and won the World Series in 2019. He was traded to the Dodgers with Max Scherzer in the middle of 2021, where he won the batting title. Turner has made the All-Star team in 2021, 2022, and 2024, has led the league in steals twice, and has a Silver Slugger award. Despite Myers being a decent piece for the Padres, Turner has greatly surpassed him as a player, and is currently in the 2nd season of an 11-year contract with the Phillies, which means that this pick by the Padres is getting graded a D for not holding on to Turner. Tyler Beede was taken with the 14th pick by the Giants out of Vanderbilt, and he found success in the minor leagues with San Francisco. He debuted in 2018 but only pitched 2 games with the team before coming up again in 2019, putting up a .508 ERA in 24 games. He missed 2020 with Tommy John surgery and made it back to the majors with the Giants sparingly in 2021 and 2022 before being picked up by Pittsburgh and struggling there as well. He spent the 2023 season in Japan before signing this year with the Guardians as part of their bullpen, where he also struggled. Beatty never worked out with the Giants, but he did spend one full season in the rotation, so I'll grade this pick a D. Sean Newcomb was taken at pick 15 by the Angels after being one of the top prospects in the draft. He was successful in the minors before he was traded to Atlanta at the end of 2015 as the package that brought back Andrelton Simmons. Newcomb debuted in 2017 for the Braves and put together a solid year stretch before struggling in the second half of 2018. He returned in 2019 as a reliever, where he put up a 3.16 ERA, but was terrible in 2020 and 2022. He was eventually traded to the Cubs for Jesse Chavez, made a quick stop in the Giants organization, and now is pitching for Oakland out of the bullpen. Andrelton Simmons was one of the best defensive shortstops the game has ever seen, while Newcomb never lived up to his immense hype. The Angels turned this pick into an everyday defensive wizard who put up 15 WAR over 5 seasons while avoiding Newcomb's shortcomings, so I'll grade this pick a B. The Diamondbacks drafted Touki Toussaint with the 16th pick in the draft, but he struggled in his first season in the organization and never made it to the majors with Arizona. He was traded in the middle of 2015 to the Braves for infielder Phil Gosselin, who played in just a season's worth of games for Arizona and was traded in 2017 for a minimal return. Toussaint never figured it out with Atlanta, and he most recently appeared in the majors with the White Sox in 2023 as a starter. This pick really didn't work out positively for anybody, so it gets an F. Brandon Finnegan was taken by the Royals at pick 17, and he debuted in September of 2014, becoming the first player in the draft to be promoted to the majors. He pitched in 7 games out of the bullpen, putting up a 1.29 ERA, and appeared in 7 postseason games that season, including 2 1/3 innings in the AL wildcard game. Finnegan was later traded at the 2015 deadline to the Reds, in the trade that brought back ace Johnny Cueto, who threw 8 innings in Game 5 of the ALDS and a complete game in Game 2 of the World Series. The Royals won that World Series, and Finnegan put up a 3.98 ERA for Cincinnati through 31 starts in 2016 before struggling with injuries and being DFA'd in 2018, the last time he appeared in the majors. Finnegan didn't make a huge impact for the Royals on the field, but the trade that brought over Cueto at the deadline resulted in them winning their first World Series title since 1985, so for that, this pick gets an A. The Nationals drafted Eric Fedde with pick 18, and he made his debut in 2017 following injuries to Steven Strasburg and Joe Ross. He made 88 starts in his career for the Nationals, but never put up an ERA under 4.29. He was let go at the end of 2022 and pitched 1 year in Korea where he went 20-6 with a 2 ERA and won the equivalent of the Cy Young Award and the League MVP Award. He is currently in the first year of a 2-year deal with the White Sox, throwing the best baseball of his career. Fedde never worked out for the Nationals, but he did pitch in 102 games for Washington, so I'll grade this pick a D. Nick Howard was a pitcher taken by the Reds with the 19th pick, and he primarily pitched out of the bullpen in parts of 3 seasons in A-ball. He struggled in his final 2 years with Cincinnati before being released. He's since bounced around several minor league systems, most recently appearing for the Braves in AA in 2023. Safe to say that this pick was an F for the Reds. Casey Gillespie was drafted by Tampa Bay at pick 20, and he put up strong numbers all throughout the minors for the Rays, before finally struggling at AAA and being traded to the White Sox. He spent 2017 and 2018 in AAA with Charlotte, before being released prior to the 2019 season. He's since moved around to several independent league teams, but he hasn't played in a major league system since 2018. This pick also gets an F for the Rays. The then Cleveland Indians took outfielder Bradley Zimmer with the 21st pick in the draft, and he cruised through the minors before debuting with Cleveland in 2017. He struggled a bit offensively due to a high strikeout rate, but made dazzling catches in center field and stole 18 bases. His rookie season ended early due to injury, which he would battle along with his high strikeout rate in 2018 through 2021. He did hit a home run off his brother in 2021 before he was traded to the Blue Jays in 2022. He played in several minor league organizations but never made it back to the majors. Zimmer had a ton of potential for Cleveland, and he did contribute a lot to the 2017 team that made the postseason, but his later seasons lands this draft grade at a D. Grant Holmes was a pitcher drafted by the Dodgers with pick 22. He put up decent numbers in the minors before being traded to Oakland at the deadline in 2016 in the package that brought Rich Hill and Josh Reddick to LA. Reddick didn't do much for the Dodgers, but Hill put up solid numbers for the Dodgers in part of 4 seasons, along with great postseason numbers. Holmes struggled in Oakland and was released from the AAA team in 2022, but finally made his debut in the majors with the Braves this season out of the bullpen, where he has put up solid numbers so far. Holmes didn't work out in LA, but he did bring back Rich Hill, who was a key piece in the 2016 through 2018 Dodgers postseason teams. For his contributions, this draft grade lands at a B. The Tigers drafted Derek Hill at pick 23, and he eventually debuted with the team in 2020, playing in 15 games. He never played in more than 50 games for the Tigers in 3 seasons, with his best season being 2021, where he put up a .701 OPS in 49 games. He was DFA'd in 2022 and picked up by Seattle, but never made the Major League team. He played 2023 with the Nationals before joining the Rangers in 2024, where he's put up solid offensive numbers so far in limited action. The Tigers got just 95 games out of their first-round pick and weren't able to get anything in return for him, earning this pick an F. Cole Tucker was taken by the Pirates at pick 24 and debuted in 2019 as a shortstop. He was never able to figure it out offensively and went back and forth between the majors and minors before the Pirates DFA'd him in 2022. He bounced around to several different organizations before currently making the majors with the Angels this season. Tucker never had an OPS over .640 in 4 seasons with the Pirates, so this pick is also getting an F. The A's made a splash with the 25th pick when they took Matt Chapman, who would have finished his tenure with the team having been an All-Star in 2019, a 3-time Gold Glove winner, and a 2-time Platinum Glove winner. He hit 36 home runs in 2019 and finished 6th in the MVP voting, helping to guide the A's to the postseason in 2018, 2019, and 2020. But the A's, in typical A's fashion, traded Chapman to the Blue Jays in 2022 for a return that included 4 players, 3 of which are no longer in the organization. Chapman played 2 seasons in Toronto, hitting above league average and winning another Gold Glove before signing with the Giants this past offseason. The A's made a great pick with Chapman, but they were not able to retain him or get any significant return for him up to this point, with the only player remaining in the organization being Gunnar Hoagland, a pitcher in AA. Chapman was great in Oakland, but the way the organization handled him and his eventual exit trade earns this pick a B. The Red Sox took Michael Chavis with the 26th pick in the draft, and he crushed his way through the minors before a PED suspension cut out 80 games of his 2018 season. He debuted for Boston in 2019, hitting 18 home runs in 95 games, but lost the rest of his season due to injury. He struggled in 2020 and 2021 before he was traded to the Pirates for a reliever. The return never worked out in Boston, and Chavis didn't work out in Pittsburgh after he put up a .654 OPS in 129 games. He last appeared in the majors for Washington in 2023, and the Red Sox were left with minimal production from this pick, earning it an F. Luke Weaver was taken by the Cardinals at pick 27 and quickly made his debut a few years later in 2016, starting 8 games with a 5.7 ERA. His best season for St. Louis was the back half of 2017, when he pitched to a 3.88 ERA in 10 starts. He struggled in 2018, and the Cardinals moved on from him when they traded him to Arizona as part of the package to bring back Paul Goldschmidt, who certainly made a big impact for the team. With the Cardinals, Goldschmidt was the 2022 NL MVP, All-Star, Gold Glove winner, and Silver Slugger. He's put up an OPS over 800 in every season but 2024 so far. Weaver has bounced around to several teams over the past few seasons, most recently finding success in the bullpen for the Yankees. The Cardinals moved Weaver for one of the best hitters of the past decade, earning this pick an A. Moving on to the compensatory round of the first round, Foster Griffin was taken 28th by the Royals. A lefty pitcher, he struggled throughout the minors before earning a promotion in 2020, appearing in just 1 game for the Royals before undergoing Tommy John surgery. He pitched just 5 more games for Kansas City before being traded to Toronto and eventually signing in Japan. A first-round pick only appearing in 6 games before being released earns this pick an F. The Reds took infielder Alex Blandino with the 29th pick, and he debuted in 2018, playing in 69 games. He put up a .781 OPS in 23 games in 2019, but only played in 43 more games for the team before being released in 2021. He was best known for featuring a knuckleball in blowouts for the Reds, and after a few stops in the minors with other organizations, is currently back with the Reds as a knuckleball pitcher in A-ball. For the laughs that Blandino provided, and the fact that he made it back to the organization, this pick earns a D. Luis Ortiz was a pitcher drafted by the Rangers with the 30th pick in the draft. He made it to AA in the Rangers organization before he was traded to Milwaukee at the deadline in the package for catcher Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy was great for the Rangers in 2016, putting up an .884 OPS in 47 games, but struggled the following season and was dealt to the Rockies for a player to be named later. Ortiz was later dealt to the Orioles in the trade that sent Jonathan Scope to Milwaukee, but Ortiz debuted and pitched in just 3 games for Baltimore before he was released. He's been back with the Rangers and Giants in the minors before last appearing in the majors for the Phillies this season, but is currently on the injured list. Lucroy helped propel the Rangers to the postseason in 2016, but him and Ortiz didn't make lasting impacts on the organization, earning this pick the grade of D. The Cleveland Indians drafted pitcher Justice Sheffield with the 31st pick, a pick that they got after Ubaldo Jimenez signed with the Orioles and traded Sheffield to the Yankees in 2016 in the trade that brought back ace reliever Andrew Miller. Miller put up back-to-back dominant seasons in 2016 and 2017 and led Cleveland to the World Series in his first season. Sheffield was dealt just a season and a half later when he was sent to Seattle in the James Paxton trade. He struggled in Seattle, with his Mariners tenure ending after the 2022 season, the last time he appeared in the majors. For Cleveland, they turned a starter who never panned out in the majors into one of the most dominant relievers we've ever seen, in a World Series appearance. It may hurt Cleveland fans due to the way that the 2016 season ended, but this pick earns an A. Braxton Davidson was an outfielder drafted by the Braves with the 32nd pick in the draft, but he never made it out of A-ball in the Braves organization. He was released in 2020 and has bounced around several non-MLB affiliated leagues. A first-round pick who never made it past A-ball earns his pick an F. The Red Sox drafted Michael Kopech with pick 33, using the compensation pick that they received for the loss of Jacoby Ellsbury to the Yankees. Kopech was dealt 2 years later in the trade that brought Chris Sale to Boston, a trade that landed them one of the best pitchers of the decade and now an 8-time All-Star. He helped lead Boston to a World Series title in 2018, the same year Kopech debuted, pitching in just 4 games before he would miss the next 2 seasons due to Tommy John surgery. He returned in 2021 and had success out of the bullpen and moved to the rotation in 2022, putting up a 3.54 ERA in 25 starts. He struggled in 2023, along with most players on the White Sox, and is working out of the bullpen closing games this season to mixed results. The Red Sox traded Kopech for an ace and a World Series title, making this pick an easy A. With the final pick of the first round, the Cardinals took pitcher Jack Flaherty with the 34th pick, one that they got after Carlos Beltran signed with the Yankees. He dominated in AAA before debuting in 2017 out of the rotation. He broke out in 2019 with a 2.75 ERA in 33 starts, placing 4th in the Cy Young voting. Injuries derailed the remainder of his Cardinals tenure, and after staying healthy in 2023, he was dealt to the Orioles for a package of prospects. Flaherty is starting games for the Tigers and has regained some of his dominant form. It's still too early to grade the prospect package the Cardinals received for Flaherty, and although the end of his Cardinals career was spent primarily on the injured list, he led them to a postseason series win in 2019, so I'll grade this pick a C. That's it for the first round of the draft, but let's take a quick look at notable names that were taken in the later rounds, starting with Alex Verdugo, who was taken by the Dodgers with the 62nd pick and was solid in center field in LA before being one of the main pieces in the Mookie Betts trade headed back to Boston. He was a solid player for Boston for several seasons before being dealt to the New York Yankees, where he's playing currently in 2024. Spencer Turnbull was drafted by Detroit at pick 63 and threw a no-hitter in 2021 before undergoing Tommy John surgery. He's most recently found success with the Phillies this season in the rotation and out of the bullpen. Mitch Keller was taken by the Pirates in the second round with the 64th pick and has turned into one of the anchors of their young rotation, making the All-Star team in 2023 and signing a 5-year extension prior to 2024. The Giants drafted Logan Webb in the 4th round at pick 118. He debuted in 2019 but broke out in 2021, pitching 2 incredible performances in the NLDS that season. He's turned into an ace in San Francisco, putting up an ERA of 3.25 or better in 3 straight seasons. Jordan Montgomery was originally drafted by the Yankees at pick 122, and he logged solid seasons in 2017 and 2021 in New York around an injured list stint due to Tommy John surgery. He was traded to the Cardinals in 2022, put up solid numbers over a full season, and was traded to the Rangers at the 2023 deadline. And you all know about the postseason heroics he displayed on the way to the Rangers title this past season. Montgomery is currently pitching with the Diamondbacks in 2024. Justin Steele was drafted by the Cubs at pick 139 and has turned into the ace of the rotation after making the All-Star team last year, after he went 16-5 with a 3.06 ERA in 30 games, finishing 5th in the Cy Young race. Rhys Hoskins was taken with the 142nd pick in the draft by the Phillies, and he hit 148 home runs over 6 seasons in Philly, along with the iconic bat spike against the Braves on the way to the 2021 World Series run. He missed 2023 due to injury, but is back this season hitting home runs with the Brewers. The north side of Chicago drafted Dylan Cease with pick 169 and traded him a few years later with Eloy Jimenez to the White Sox in exchange for Jose Quintana. Cease broke out in 2022 when he put up a 2.20 ERA and finished second in the Cy Young voting. He was traded this past offseason to the Padres for a package of prospects, and is among the league leaders in strikeouts this season with San Diego. Tanner Scott was drafted by the Orioles with the 181st pick, and he struggled in Baltimore out of the bullpen before being traded to Miami in 2022. He converted 24 saves for the playoff Marlins last year, and is currently one of the top lefty relievers in the game so far this season, and also made the All-Star team. Another now closer was taken at pick 294 by the Blue Jays, as Jordan Romano debuted in 2020 and has racked up 95 saves from 2021 to 2023 for the Blue Jays before missing time on the injured list this season. The Brewers drafted Brandon Woodruff with the 326th pick, who turned into an ace of the pitching staff for Milwaukee after some postseason heroics in 2018. He was an All-Star in 2019 and 2021, where he put up a 2.56 ERA in 30 starts. He was off to another great start in 2023 before missing the rest of the season with injury, one that'll keep him sidelined with Milwaukee until 2025. Runner-up in the 2019 AL Rookie of the Year vote, John Means, was drafted by the Orioles with pick 331, and after debuting in 2018, he made the 2019 All-Star team and threw a no-hitter in 2021, the first by an Orioles pitcher since 1991. 2 Tommy John surgeries have unfortunately caused him to miss most of the past 3 seasons in Baltimore. Now for a pair of fun picks, 2012 Heisman winner Johnny Manziel was actually drafted in the 28th round of the draft by the San Diego Padres, who of course knew that Manziel was never going to sign with the team. Some guy named Patrick Mahomes was drafted in the 37th round of the 2014 draft by the Detroit Tigers as a pitcher, but we all know which sport he opted to play professionally, and it's safe to say he made the right choice. And finally, the last pick in the draft was Davis Ward, pick number 1,215, who pitched in 23 games between 2014 and 2016 for the Cardinals organization, so there's your Mr. Irrelevant of the 2014 MLB draft in the 40th round. And that concludes the Major League Baseball player draft from 10 years ago. I'm sure there were some names that you immediately recognized, with teams that you immediately associated that player with, but I hope there were plenty of surprises as to who got selected by which team. This week, your team will select what you hope will be the future of your franchise, but if past drafts have taught us anything, nothing in each draft is guaranteed, especially those picked in the first round. Thank you all for watching.